Snow hammers the old Ohio farmhouse. The milk and cookies sit, waiting by the fire, and a little brown terrier has just licked the plate clean. Outside, the wind changes, hooves rattle on the roof, far too light for reindeer, and too loud for anything human. As the fire dies, maybe you will, too.
How did you get in here?
Ho, ho, ho. What's that? You want to be scared? Come with me. This is Weekly Spooky.
Hello, my spookies. It's Wednesday, and you know what that means. It's time for a little spooky in your weekly. But of course, it is the most wonderful time of the year, so we'll be back here tomorrow with another episode and a special novella-length one at that. There's always something to unwrap here at Weekly Spooky, every day until Christmas. And on Friday, we have a special episode of Cutting Deep into Horror, where Rachel and I discuss the 2007 holiday horror thriller and one of my personal favorites, Wind Chill. So make sure you're subscribed. And if you love what we're doing here, head to weeklyspooky.com/join and sign up for our Patreon for as little as $1 a month and get 2 bonus episodes every month, as well as over 5 years of exclusive creepypasta readings and audiobooks. That's weeklyspooky.com/join. Your support makes all the difference. But now, as for tonight, imagine it's Christmas Eve on a lonely farm, way out where the fields turn into white, empty dark. The house is warm, the tree is glowing, and there's a plate of cookies and milk waiting by the fireplace, because that's one tradition you never skip. Not here. Not in this family. But what if you did? What if a naughty little dog knocked over the tray and the milk and cookies meant for Santa Claus disappeared before midnight? What if every story you heard about Krampus, the shadow of St. Nicholas, the thing that comes for unbelievers, wasn't just an old wives' tale, but a true and honest warning? Tonight we're lighting a Christmas fire and asking, what really comes down the chimney when you forget to be good for goodness sake? And is there any hope of escape when the shadow of Santa Claus is coming to your town? Milk, Cookies, and Krampus by Rob Fields. Hello, everybody. Bill Bayer back here with you again. At least, I'm pretty sure we've met before. How about I tell you one more memoir centered around Christmas? For the record, I wasn't there when this one took place. I'm only recounting it from when May Donnerly and Carnelian Mirren told their story to the rest of us on Christmas Day. For the sake of being able to share this memoir with all of you, I'll try not to take too many liberties in the name of storytelling. This takes place after our little run-in with Isley Tinker and his Christmas carnival, not to mention meeting the Dark Mother herself. Some people seemed to know her as Hellweaver. Since you're here to experience this story now, then you know we all made it out. The Dark Mother herself saved Christmas for 1,000 souls, including those of our group, on account of a technicality regarding an arrangement she and Tinker had made. Our group would end up repeating Christmas Eve as a result. We went to the Christmas Bazaar in Gunter Square Park, the same as we did the first day. It was Daisy May Donnerly, Carnelian Mirren, Jasper Jinks, Truck Tucker, and me. Unlike our first go-around, we wouldn't see that flyer about the Christmas carnival and end up going to and being trapped in it. Catastrophe averted. We finished our day at Daisy May's farm, where her mom and dad shared cookies and spiced hot chocolate with us. After a while, the rest of us left, leaving Daisy May and Carnelian. It's from there that I'll tell you the story, the way I recall it being told to me. But first, we'll have to introduce another character into the story, in that of Daisy May's little brown terrier named Ol McDonald. For the record, he really wasn't a bad dog. He was always friendly to anyone who met him. From what I'd seen, he had the same fire and gusto as Daisy May herself. And you know Rose, her mother, was the one who instilled her own fire into her little girl. So it was likely she did the same to Ol McDonald. For a little dog, he sure had the appetite of a dog at least 3 times his size. It seemed like he had a bottomless pit, especially where people food was concerned. The family kept Ol McDonald's diet under control. Once in a while, he would get a reward of said people food. That little dog was so happy, he devoured what he was given. Earlier on, when the rest of us were there, Ol McDonald would come and hang out with me. Always with me. I didn't know if he thought hanging around me might score him some table scraps. He sure had a hankering for the Christmas cookies Rose made. I don't know how she makes her food so unbelievably delicious. I think maybe Rose's culinary skills were the reason why Carnelian liked being on the farm so much. At least they couldn't hurt. Anyway, Ol McDonald was trying to get some of those cookies. He'd bark out of desperation when no one would give him any. Rose would then chase him off, but he'd always sneak back. Ol McDonald came into the kitchen where Daisy May and Carnelian were doing the dishes together. Daisy May was washing and Carnelian was drying and putting them on the counter. Rose said she would put them away when they were finished. "Oh, I see you there, Ol McDonald," Rose said in her southern accent as she picked him up. The dog growled at being held by the matriarch of the Donnerly farm. He would never have bitten her, though. He was merely being playful. Rose cradled him in her arms and started scratching his belly. Ol McDonald loved all the attention Rose gave him. Even though he was supposed to be Daisy May's dog, Daisy May herself would tell you he was much more Rose's pup than hers. Straight, Daisy May's dad came in and gave the dog some petting before he talked to his wife. After a time, she sent him to the living room. Then she went to Daisy May and Carnelian. "Done finished the dishes, did ya?" she asked the girls. "We sure did," Carnelian assured her. "I just finished drying the last one." Daisy May raised her finger as she stood on the stool in front of the dual sinks. "Hold it, Carney. Missed one. Found it while draining the wash water," she squeaked in her southern, mousy voice. She pulled a fork out of the sink and cleaned it up. Carnelian took the fork and dried it off. "Okay, now we're done." Rose chuckled. "Carney Mirren, you definitely belong here on the farm as much work as you do here." "You sure put in your time this morning." "She loves your home cooking, Ma," Daisy May cracked. Carnelian blushed a little. She looked ready to snap at Daisy May. Instead, she just sighed and told Rose, "She's not wrong." Rose ruffled her hair a little. You're learning and earning your keep here. I know you're living here on your folks' dime, but you definitely earn your plates at the table. Rose liked having Carnelian around, and was glad to see how much she and Daisy May had bonded as friends since that Halloween night. We done here, Ma? Daisy May said, coming down off the stool. Yeah, you kids can go on up to the barn, Rose answered. Oh, wait now. Hold up. Daisy May and Carnelian stopped and turned back to Rose. Yeah, Ma? Daisy May chirped. Rose quickly picked up one of the clean plates. She moved over to where the rest of the Christmas cookies we had enjoyed earlier were put away. She placed some cookies on the plate and set it down. Then she got a glass and poured some creamy buttermilk into it from the refrigerator. She put it down next to the cookies. You girls take these into the living room and put them by the fireplace, Rose instructed. Daisy May, you get the little table set up. Why are we doing this? Carnelian asked. Daisy May answered for her mom. Because we gotta leave milk and cookies out for the big guy tonight. You know, Christmas Eve and everything. Carnelian gave them a weird look. You're serious? Rose was quick to point at Carnelian. One thing you're gonna learn around here, Carney, is there's traditions you just never break. In our family, the biggest one is you always leave milk and cookies for Santa Claus. Carnelian composed herself. Okay, I'll bite. What happens if you don't leave milk and cookies out for Father Christmas? You get coal in your stocking or something? Rose glared at Carnelian. I'm gonna excuse your snarkiness on the count of it being your first Christmas here as part of this family. She pointed sharply at her. If you don't leave milk and cookies out for Santa Claus on Christmas Eve tonight, then you're asking for all kinds of bad things to happen. And if you get coal in your stocking, you'd be darn lucky. I mean it now. Don't you dare be tempting fate. Carnelian turned to look at Daisy May, and she could tell she wasn't quite believing Rose herself. Just the same, the girls obeyed Rose and took the plate and glass into the living room. Daisy May set up the little table near the fireplace. Straight came and knelt down in front of the fire, putting another log into it. Looks like Ma's got you girls taking care of Santa, huh? Carnelian looked at him. Do you believe in Santa? For that matter, do you believe in doing this? Always the laid-back and patient man that he was, he stood up. You've been here long enough to know how headstrong my better half can be, Carney. If there's one thing my pa said to me back when he met her, it was that she knows things. She's got traditions and customs passed down to her by her own family. I definitely learned the hard way that you listen when your better half tells you about traditions, especially when you're both born and raised in Strickfield, Ohio here. Carnelian wouldn't back down. But why leave milk and cookies here for Santa? Come on, Straight, I'm old enough to know there's no such thing as Santa Claus. Straight smirked and shook his head slowly. Yeah, you and Daisy May are both two of a kind, you are. He sighed. Normally, you ain't supposed to be up and waiting for Santa to come, but I got a mind to just let you girls stay right in here tonight and see for yourselves. He pointed at both of them. You girls best mind your ma when she tells you to do something, especially where old wives' tales are concerned. He pointed to the kitchen. Now, ma ain't kidding none about them milk and cookies. No, sir. You don't leave 'em out for Santa, you're going to be asking for a whole heap of trouble. Carnelian was riled up now. But what kind of trouble? Come on, will you? Level with us here. Straight got real serious. Well, I done heard from Jerome Fisher back when we lived in Pendleton that his family actually had a meeting with the bad version of Santa himself. Are you trying to say that old coot met up with Krampus for not leaving milk and cookies for Santa? Daisy May asked in disbelief. Straight shrugged. Ain't saying whether he did or not. I wasn't there, mind you. I also heard about Krampus from George Belcher and his better half. Turns out their boys didn't believe and didn't bother leaving milk and cookies out for Santa. Krampus darn near made off with them two rascals. He pointed to the kitchen. I heard Ma telling you in there about tempting fate. You just don't do it. Plain and simple. Daisy May and Carnelian both looked at each other, still not believing what the elders had told them. Still, they set up the milk and cookies, as they were told to do. What none of them had seen, however, was Ol McDonald looking in. I think in his little doggy mind, he was hatching a plan on how to get those cookies. Then Carnelian clapped her hands together. You know what, Straight? I think I would like to sit down here tonight and see if Santa does come for the milk and cookies. Straight nodded once. You go right on ahead, Carney. I think the log I put on the fire will be done by the time him and those 8 tiny reindeer come parking up on our roof. You staying here at the house with Carney, Daisy May? Sure, Pa. Why not? Daisy May replied. Carnelian pointed at her. Darn straight you are. I want to have a witness to back me up when we don't see anything. She looked at Straight. Except for the milk and cookies still being here in the morning. Straight chuckled. You still got a lot to learn, Carney. Anyway, you girls have at it. It's getting late, so I'm gonna turn in for a long winter's nap. Good night, girls. Straight moved to the stairway and slowly ascended it. About 20 minutes later, Rose came and said goodnight to the girls. Then she pointed sharply at both of them. I better not find out you two ate them cookies and drank up the milk. Folks around here'll be wondering what became of both of you. When she saw Carnelian's doubtful look, she especially pointed at her. You just keep not believing what I say. You'll learn soon enough. You just wait and see if you don't. From there, Rose made her way upstairs. Daisy May and Carnelian were alone in the living room. It's 11 o'clock, Carnelian observed. What should we do to kill time while we're waiting for, she made air quotes, Santa Claus? Daisy May picked up the TV remote. Why don't we find us a Christmas movie? Sure, Country Mouse. Put one on, Carnelian agreed. Ironically enough, the girls ended up watching Krampus. Before long, they were both yawning. Soon they were settling back on the couch. Little did they realize that Ol McDonald was preparing to make his move. It seemed like the girls had only nodded off for a second before they heard the loud noise that suddenly jolted them awake and gave them their second winds. What the heck? Daisy May uttered. Look, Country Mouse! Carnelian shrieked, pointing to the floor. The girls both saw Ol McDonald scarfing down the cookies he had succeeded in knocking to the floor. The girls saw Ol McDonald scarfing down the cookies. After finishing the last cookie, he moved to the fallen glass of milk and started lapping it up. Daisy May pointed down at him. Oh, you is in big trouble now, you darn mutt. You get your itty-bitty butt over here, now! I got him, Carnelian told her, as she had her hands seemingly coiled around him. But the wily little dog yapped a couple of times and suddenly sprinted out of Carnelian's hands. He scurried to the edge of the room, turned around, and yapped again. Daisy May was easily the fastest girl I knew, next to Ariel Mirren. She was fast enough to help the Strickfield junior high football team win the state championship last fall. Yet she could never catch Ol McDonald when he would run away. You just wait till I get hold of you, Daisy May told him. Ain't nowhere you can get away with all the doors and windows locked up tight. Carnelian helped Daisy May chase Ol McDonald. At one point, the girls had him surrounded in the kitchen. The little dog sat and panted as he looked from one girl to the other. Again, the girls underestimated Ol McDonald. As they were about to grab him, he quickly scurried away. When we get our hands on you, Ol McDonald, you're going in the cage for the night, Daisy May promised. The dog yapped a couple of times, as if he was telling them they were more than welcome to try. The girls went after him again. He never once fled upstairs or even tried going down into the basement. As far as the dog was concerned, those girls were playing with him. Of course, Ol McDonald was always down to play. When the clock sounded the hour of midnight, the girls couldn't believe they had been chasing Ol McDonald for nearly an hour. Carnelian groaned. You might as well just bribe him with some food, Daisy May. There's no way we can catch him. You know, if I didn't know any better, I'd swear your mom was putting coffee in his water dish. Daisy May also groaned. Okay. I'll get some doggy yum-yums. She pointed at Ol McDonald. Then your itty-bitty butt's going in the cage. But as Daisy May was turning to go into the kitchen, the girls heard a loud racket outside. They both looked at each other before they made their way to the front door. When Daisy May opened it, they could see the wintry weather through the screen door. It wasn't this bad earlier when we went to the Christmas bazaar, Carnelian said. Well, it's looking like a winter twisty done come through Strickfield and dumped a bunch of snow down on our heads, Carney, Daisy May muttered. Guessing I'ma have to add a few extra logs to my stove in the barn before I lay down for the night. How long has it been snowing like this? Carnelian asked. And how come we didn't see it? You'd have thought one of your parents would have said something about it, right? The girls both looked at each other and knew something wasn't right about the sudden blizzard conditions they were seeing. I think maybe you'd better just stay in the house tonight, Carnelian advised. Before Daisy May could reply, she suddenly gasped and pointed outside. Daisy May herself didn't scream, but her eyes were wide open. In the distance, they could see something big flying towards the barn. Is it really Santa? Carnelian wondered out loud. We did see ghosts on Halloween, Daisy May recalled. And we were just at a ghostly carnival. We're even repeating Christmas Eve entirely, so maybe we should be the kind of folks to take this seriously. Wow, we're really going to meet Santa Claus, Carnelian said with fascination. My parents will never believe me when I write my next letter to them. But as the sleigh drew closer and closer, the girls' feelings of amazement and wonder turned to those of horror. They saw the 8 tiny reindeer weren't so much tiny as skinny, skeleton thin. The 8 reindeer pulling the sleigh were making eerie sounds. Then they saw the driver, wearing his dark red coat and fur cap. His eyes glowed red, and he gave off a sneer that made both of the girls gulp together. "Shut the door, Carney!" Daisy May shrieked. "Oh, God!" Carnelian groaned as she slammed the door and put her back up against it. Daisy May quickly locked the door and fastened the deadbolt. Carnelian sprang from the front door and ran to the back one. Daisy May caught on and was right. "Lock it up good and tight, Carney," Daisy May cried. As Carnelian was securing the back door, she pointed to the basement. "The side entrance! Go!" Daisy May opened the basement door and jumped off the top step, landing at the midpoint. To her comfort, the door was already locked tight. She quickly raced back upstairs to meet Carnelian, went back into the living room. "The fire's almost out," Daisy May choked. "I'll put another log on it," Carnelian cried and raced to get more. She brought the log to the dying fire and was about to place it on. Suddenly, something dropped and crashed loudly right in front of her. The girls screamed when they saw who was coming out of the fireplace before them.
"No milk and cookies for Santa Claus on Christmas Eve?"
The figure chuckled.
"Such naughty little girls indeed."
He produced an abundantly large sack that matched his coat.
"You girls are coming home with me this Christmas."
The girls screamed as they turned and ran.
"And just where will you girls go to? Didn't you hear Mr. Straight Donnerly when he told you about me? You can't possibly escape from Krampus."
The polar opposite of Santa Claus took his time as he pursued the girls. When they reached the back door, Carnelian quickly undid the deadbolt and locked the handle. Soon they were both running out into the storm. It's so cold," Carnelian groaned. "Gee, you think so?" Daisy May muttered sarcastically. "I'd have thought it was the middle of summer, personally." "Oh, shut up," Carnelian muttered. The girls reached the barn and went inside. The 2 main doors were locked tight. They were thankful the side door was easily accessible. Daisy May locked it behind them. As they were about to go upstairs to Daisy May's room, the main doors were ripped away and cast aside.
"Oh, come now. Did you really think your barn would grant you shelter from Krampus?"
He sneered at them as they looked on, terrified.
"You girls chose not to believe. You didn't leave milk and cookies for Santa. You could have easily avoided your fate had you just respected your elders."
"We did leave milk and cookies out for Santa," Daisy May protested. "Yeah, the dog ate the cookies and drank most of the milk," Carnelian added. Krampus pointed right at them.
"But the fact of the matter is that there were no milk and no cookies when the clock told midnight to begin Christmas. Blaming a little dog is no excuse. Besides, you girls didn't believe in the existence of Santa Claus. but you shall have more than enough time to reflect on your sins when you're spending each and every Christmas in my lair."
Krampus held open his sack.
"Now, get inside."
The girls turned and went through the side door again. They made it back into the house and secured the door once more. Carnelian saw Krampus's face in the window and screamed.
"Knock, knock."
The monster teased. The girls turned away just as Krampus reduced the back door to splinters and entered the house again. Daisy May quickly opened the refrigerator and started throwing food at Krampus. After she threw a turkey leg at his head, Krampus caught it and took a huge bite.
Hickory smoked to perfection.
He threw the rest of it out to his undead reindeer, who gobbled it up.
"But this changes nothing."
The girls ran off again. They stopped when they saw Ol McDonald standing right there. Daisy May quickly snatched up the little dog. "You got us in deep, deep doggy doo-doo, you darn mutt," she growled. The dog just yapped, like he always did. When they ran to the stairway, Carnelian quickly turned and yelled up, "Help! Wake up! You were both right! The dog ate the cookies and now Krampus is here in the house! Help!" Unfortunately for them, it would take more than just Carnelian yelling at the top of her lungs to get Daisy May's parents to wake up and come to their aid. When they saw Krampus was almost on them, they moved away from the stairs and through a few hallways. When they reached the basement, Daisy May called out to Carnelian, "Open the door!" Carnelian tried to stop, but slid on her socks and fell on her rear on the shiny wooden floor. She quickly got back up and got the basement door open. "We can't hide down there, Daisy May." "We ain't hiding down there," Daisy May snapped. "Now quit being yella and come on." "You're just as scared as me, country mouse," Carnelian fired back. "And I am so scared." The girls ran down the basement. Just as they reached the bottom step, they heard the door being ripped away at its hinges.
"You can run, but you'll never escape. Krampus."
He called behind them.
"I'm just like Santa Claus in the fact that I see everything."
The girls reached the other stairway that led to the outside. All they would have to do is climb up and push open the metal doors. "These aren't locked, right?" Carnelian asked. "Nope, shouldn't be," Daisy May replied. "But you're gonna have to open them since I'm holding Ol McDonald here." The dog yapped a couple of times at hearing his name. "Oh yeah, you mutt? I should just give you to Krampus," Daisy May threatened. "After all, you ate all the cookies Ma told us to leave for Santa Claus." Carnelian suddenly glanced over her shoulder at Daisy May. "That's it, Country Mouse. Your mom's got to have more cookies lying around somewhere." "Hey, you're right," Daisy May shrieked. "Good thinking, Carney. They's probably somewhere in the kitchen." Carnelian quickly got one of the metal doors open. The girls climbed out of the basement and moved through the blizzard. As they turned the corner to get to the kitchen, both doors flew off the basement entrance. The strong winds easily carried them off in different directions. The girls kept moving until they were able to get back into the house through the back doorway. Now they were back in the kitchen. Unfortunately, They didn't have any door to keep in between them and Krampus, since the monster had destroyed it earlier. Daisy May put Ol McDonald on the table and helped Carnelian look through the cupboards. "Oh, where are they? Where are they?" Carnelian groaned. "How hard can it be to find Christmas cookies?" "You was in here with Ma," Daisy May reminded her. "I was in the living room with Pa, remember?" Carnelian raised her eyes to the ceiling and screamed out in both frustration and terror. Carney, ain't no time to be yella," Daisy May yelled. "Now think, where'd you see Ma stash them cookies?" Carnelian shook her head and groaned in fright. Daisy May quickly grabbed her shoulders and shook. "We ain't got time, I told ya. Krampus will be back in this house in a smidge. Now think, Carney, think." Carnelian saw Ol McDonald barking on the table. And just like that, "I remember now. I'll get the cookies, Country Mouse." She pointed to the open refrigerator. "You get some more buttermilk." Daisy May did as Carnelian said and grabbed the pitcher. She moved back into the living room to pick up the glass. Soon she had it full again and back on the little table. Carnelian returned with the Tupperware container. Daisy May picked up the plate and put it back on the tray. Carnelian opened the container and placed a couple of Christmas cookies on the plate. Ol McDonald was on the floor, looking to knock the tray over again. This time, however, Carnelian dropped what was left of the Christmas cookies and snatched him up. "No, you don't, you little rascal." The girls turned around and saw Krampus staring down at them. Ol McDonald just looked all happy and yapped at Krampus. Carnelian pointed to the tray. "There! We made it right. We've got milk and cookies for Santa Claus." Krampus laughed scornfully. "It's much too late for that now, mortals. And now no more running away.
It's time for you both to come home with Krampus."
"What?" the girls screamed in disbelief. "But we done fixed it," Daisy May protested. Krampus ignored Daisy May and snatched her up off her feet. She screamed as he dropped her into his sack. Ol McDonald escaped from Carnelian's arms. When she herself tried to escape, Krampus snatched her up off her feet and dropped her into the sack with Daisy May. Ol McDonald just sat there, yapping happily and wagging his tail. Inside Krampus's sack, it was very, very dark. It would be in the darkness that they would feel themselves being shaken as Krampus made his way back to his sleigh and commanded his team of undead reindeer to ascend into the air. The girls could only speculate as to what Krampus's lair would look like, since they would be spending the rest of their lives as part of his ever-growing collection of naughty children. Carnelian was so scared she shook like she had never shaken in her life. The darkness and shaking movements frightened her so severely that she managed to belt out one long, loud, and final scream of despair. Suddenly, everything came back into light. "Carney!" Carnelian's eyes were wide open now. She saw she was sitting in the living room. Only now, the face of Daisy May Donnerly was right in front of her. Country Mouse?" she stammered. What's... Carnelian shook her head as Daisy May backed off. "Where am I?" she choked out. I tried waking you up, Carney, Daisy May told her. Yeah, you worked real hard this morning. Tired as you were, you was sleeping soundly, same as my folks. Carnelian shrieked when she saw Old McDonald sitting on the couch beside her. As always, he was looking all cute with his panting and wagging his tail. She pointed right at him. You got us in trouble, you little mongrel. You ate Santa's cookies and drank up all the milk. Nope, hogwash, Daisy May countered. Looky here. Carnelian turned to see the glass of buttermilk, and the plate of cookies were just as the girls had set them up. She pointed to Old McDonald, but the dog knocked the tray over. He ate all the cookies and drank up the milk. Daisy May gave her a weird look. No? Wow, you must have had some dream, Carney. Like I said, I've been trying to wake you up. I was getting ready to get out a bucket of water and splash you with it. Carnelian moved around the house and saw that the windows and doors were all intact. In fact, she opened one of them. No blizzard outside. She closed the door and turned back to Daisy. Did I really dream about Krampus coming here for us tonight? Carnelian told Daisy about her nightmare. When she finished, Daisy May's eyes were wide open. You don't believe me, Carnelian muttered. I really am crazy. Daisy May gulped. I done fell asleep too, Carney. I just happened to wake up a little bit before you did. Carnelian looked at Daisy May funny. Then why are you looking scared? I done dreamed about Krampus too, Daisy May confessed. What's really given me the shakes is that everything you just told me, I dreamed the same thing. Before either of the girls could discuss their shared dream any further, they heard a loud noise. The girls both gasped when they saw that the tray had been knocked over, and to their horror, Ol McDonald was right there, wolfing down the Christmas cookies. The girls tried to stop him, but it was too late. Ol McDonald had finished the last cookie. The girls heard the wintry winds picking up fast, just as Ol McDonald started lapping up the buttermilk. Well, my spookies, Daisy, Carnelian, and Ol McDonald learned the hard way that on this farm, milk and cookies aren't a midnight snack. They're a survival strategy. So tonight, when you're getting ready for bed, maybe give the dog a little lecture. Make sure those treats stay where you left them. But don't get too cozy by the fire just yet. Our Christmas terror continues tomorrow with a Blue Christmas, a snow-soaked superhero-flavored nightmare where alien powers, secret societies, and something born out of pure fear turn Shore City into the world's scariest holiday light show. If you thought one dangerous visitor coming down the chimney was bad, wait until you see what happens when the whole city's worst nightmares show up for Christmas Eve. Thank you all so much for joining me here tonight, and I hope to see you many, many nights until Christmas. And an extra special thank you to our Patreon podcast boosters, folks who go to weeklyspooky.com/join and sign up to support the show and pay just a little bit more to hear their names at the end of the show. And they are Johnny Nix, Kate and Lulu, Jessica Fuller, Micah Skewy, Jenny Green, Amber Hansford, Karen Weemet, Jack Kerr, and Craig Cohen. Thank you all so much for your support, and to the other 90 Spookies who contribute at weeklyspooky.com/join to help us keep the show going and going. Now, my Spookies, it's time for me to get back to work because tomorrow is a full-length novella just for you. Plus, there's so much more I need to wrap and place gently under the tree. So for myself, for my executive producers Rob Fields and Bobbletopia.com, my producer Dan Wilder, and of course, my creepy composer Ray Mattis, I will talk at you tomorrow.
Thank you for listening. Make sure to find your way back next week. But for now, you are safe. Trust me.